Hi everyone, can you hear me? Well, you're all here. Sorry I'm late. So I can see Jamila, hi. Marcia, Charlotte. Okay, so the reason that the clock said it was going to start in 20 minutes was because I use a program to go live with and it wouldn't let me. I was trying to schedule it for 5 minutes and it wouldn't let me do it. I had to do 20 minutes or something, so that's why it had to say that. So I'm sorry about the confusion. I do try as much as possible to go live at 5 o'clock on a Sunday, so that's 5 o'clock UK time. But I was running a bit behind and then I realised I'd not scheduled the live to start, and then when I came to schedule it, it said that I had to do it 20 minutes ahead, but you can override it, so that's what I've done now. So sorry about the confusion and the time, but let me just go back and see what we're all saying. I think you're just kind of talking about the time that I've posted to go live at the moment. Alison saying we await eagerly. Sorry for the confusion. Oh yes, I got new machine and the add-on for the print and cut. I'm so eager for today. Right, so there's a few things that have happened. There's a few things that have happened in my life over the last 4 or 5 months that I don't want to get to discuss openly on here, but it has meant a few changes. So you may have noticed when I was sharing my screen a few weeks ago, I was in a different setting. So I'm actually living in a different part of my house. I know it sounds confusing, but my main crafting office is still in the office in the big part of the house, but I've moved into a separate part of the house, and that's where I have my desk with my computer. And in here there's a kitchen and all sorts of things. So that's probably why you've been hearing Hannah coming and going, and there's like some big doors that go onto a balcony, and that's what the doors I have open sometimes for Eddie to roam in and out of. So there's kind of a few changes been going on which I just didn't want to kind of share publicly. So I was hoping to do either the 3D Christmas tree project, which I was showing you how to deal with the files last week, or the print and cut. And to be perfectly honest, I've not had time to put the 3D project onto a USB stick and go into the other part of the property and have a look at it to be able to cut it or anything. And my print and cut activation card was actually delayed by DPD, so it only arrived on Friday. So again, I've not had chance to look at it, but my rotary blade also arrived, but that came yesterday, and again I've just not had time to go into my other office and have a look at anything. But I don't know if Cherie is on here. Cherie messaged me last week sometime. I'll come back and look at your comments in a minute, sorry. And was asking me how to manipulate one of the shapes that's in Canvas Workspace without it kind of distorting, which I'll explain when I show you. And to be perfectly honest, I was going to do that possibly next week, but because I'm so upside down and not being able to do the things I want to do, I'm just going to, hope you don't mind, and I'm just going to be working in Canvas Workspace again this week and just showing you a solution that I came up with, as well as the solution that Cherie came up with to deal with the problem, for want of a better word, that she was having. So let me just come back and see what you're all saying. So I can see, as I say, I can see Alison, I can see Marcia, I can see Jamila, I can see Rachel, Hi. Hi JD Cougar saying yes, can hear, can see Bridget. Vicky's here. Karen's here. Hi Karen, hope you're okay. Kareen, Jamila's saying loud and clear, crossing fingers that Eddie has been a good boy. Again, without going into too much great detail, Eddie seems absolutely perfectly fine in himself, but he's got a stomach problem, which is giving him horrible diarrhea for without that being too much information. So I was at the vet with him on Friday, and he's been given some like probiotics and some stuff to help bind his gut and one thing and another. But to be perfectly honest, they don't seem to be helping. But it was only Friday afternoon when he started all this treatment, and I've got to feed him like steamed rice and chicken. So that's another thing I've got going on in here while I'm cooking. So if you hear a ding in a bit, it means that the rice and the chicken's done. And you may hear him make some noises because, bless him, the poor thing, I think, is starving. I've got to give him little and often. So yeah, right. Let me just see if I'm all caught up. So let me get rid of that. So I'm in Canvas Workspace for computer, because that's the one that I prefer to use. So Rachel's saying, oh dear, perhaps if it don't ask, things will get better. I think we're just glad we have an hour with you. Or can someone tell me how to move the chat on the side of YouTube video instead of below? Is it Eileen? Sorry, if you're looking at it on a mobile device of some kind, I think maybe turn the mobile. Like I've got a backup of my phone. I've got comments coming through on my iPad, and I've also got the comments on my phone. Let me just see if it'll work for me. Yeah, if you rotate, so instead of if you're using a phone or an iPad, instead of it being in portrait, all the comments will be underneath. If you turn it to landscape, so horizontal, the comments should go to the side. So Jamila's saying, my sooty is the same. I'm taking her to the vet tomorrow. Oh, bless. Well, the vet said to me, without digressing too much, but just to give you very quick, because you did ask, he thinks it's some kind of norovirus, like a sickness and diarrhea bug. He didn't want to give him antibiotics, but he's given me about 4 different things that I've got to give him. And some like like hydrolyte type fluid stuff, which all went yesterday. And I've just got to feed him plain steamed chicken and rice for a few days. And I've got to do it little and often. So bless him, he kind of keeps looking at me every time I move, as much to say, have you forgot to feed me? I'm starving. I'm used to getting like three bowls of food a day. So we're just going to have to see. I really don't know. But yeah, so yes, I agree with Alison. Anything you want to talk about is good. Oh, bless you. You are so lovely. Wonder why her little tummy making puppy noises. Yeah, sorry, I'm just going to have to get him, because I've put him on a chair. Now he wants to get off. Come on, get down, because I know you're ferreting around for something. So yeah, so I just don't know. I'm just hoping that maybe, by tomorrow things might start to look a bit better for him. In himself, he's perfectly fine, happy, just as, cheeky and mischievous as ever. But does kind of wander around whimpering quietly every now and again, and then kind of just needs to go out. So something's not right. Right, so Eileen is saying using a computer, not a mobile. I honestly don't know then. I honestly don't know. Somebody else might know the answer to that. I have had good luck with canned pumpkin. Do you know, that's really funny, Eileen. I was Googling this afternoon and I read something about canned pumpkin. Never even heard of it before. So I'm going to go maybe to Tesco's tomorrow and see if I can find some canned pumpkin. Don't know whether I can or not. My sooty is a cat and tiny. Oh, bless. I think there's a lot going about with animals. I know so many cases. Oh, no. It's like having a baby again. It is. It's ridiculous. But anyway. But yeah, so literally is like, you know, bless him, he thinks I'm just forgetting to feed him. She's whimpering but charging all over the house like a mad cat. You see, that's Eddie. He's like, you know, he has the zoomies. He's happy in himself. When we go out for walks, he's like dead happy to go out and all that kind of thing. But just got this stomach problem. Just give me 1 minute. Right, so let me tell you what Cherie was asking about. So Canvas Workspace for computer I'm using only because it's the one that I tend to lean to, as you know, I probably say every week. She was asking about, under the basic shapes, this scallop square, which is on my Canvas Workspace. It's the second row and it's the last one on the right. So if I just drag it onto the screen, so it's kind of like your basic go-to scallop square shape, if you like. It's one that I've used in the past. I think I even have a video on my channel showing how I made a card, you know, a shaped card with this. So when you bring something into Canvas Workspace, it comes in if it's in inches, because I work in inches, as a default size of 3.94 by 3.94. Now, from memory, because I only scribbled notes and I've not seen her name on here, so I don't know whether she's on to tell us herself. But I think what she was saying was, if you drag a corner and make this bigger, so like this is now like kind of 10.5 inches, you still keep the same amount of scallops, but they just go bigger. And what she wanted to do was make the shape bigger but have more scallops. Okay, so the way that she got around it, so I'm just undoing to get it back to its original size. Hi Susan, don't worry, I'm literally only just started. Karen's asking how Hannah is doing. Hannah's doing great, thank you, Karen. She did really well over the summer. Her problem with her gut is getting a lot better. She's literally eating chicken and rice, basically. She's eating like single ingredient foods, and has been for several months. But her stomach is getting a lot better with it. So there's obviously, she's not eating gluten and she's not eating dairy. So there's something in those that seems to aggravate her gut and was causing her all those problems. So once I think she gets past Christmas, she's going to try maybe introducing something back into her diet. I'm not sure what yet. Probably not dairy, because she said she seems to think that she's okay without it. So hi Carol, don't worry, I'm literally only just starting. Right, so let's just go back to this scallop square. So she wanted to be able to make it bigger but not have the scallops go bigger. So she wanted the scallops to stay the same size but have more of them. Now what she said to me in her email was that the way she got round it was to duplicate it so she had four squares. So she duplicated it 3 more times, okay? And she overlapped them. Eddie. And from reading her email, I think this is how she did it, okay? But she asked me, how would I have done it? So I'm going to show you how she did it, and then I'm going to show you a way that I probably would have done it. I, to be perfectly honest, didn't even think about doing it this way. So this is why it's great that we can all chip in and come up with ideas. So at the moment, if you can hear the bark, he's literally, I have a doorstop that's like padded with rice. He's trying to rip the doorstop open. Oh, the joys of having a puppy. So she started off with the main shape and she created 3 more. And this is, I think, how she meant she did it. So she overlapped 2 of them and then lined them up. Okay, so now she's got this, and then welded them. Now I don't know whether she welded 2 together or all 4 together at once. I'm not sure. So you could do it either way. You could now copy this one, duplicate it, overlap it, line it up, say along the top so it lines up, and then edit and weld it. Okay, so you've got a bigger square. This is like 7 by 7 now, but you've got more scallops, but they're basically the same size scallop as this one here. So if I just colour this one red in the hope that you might be able to see it a bit better, if I put it over, you'll see that the scallops have remained. Eddie, excuse me 1 minute. Enough now. Can you believe he's actually barking at a doorstop? I mean, you know, how mad. I can see someone's making a comment about yogurt. That's another thing I saw that you could feed to animals with an upset stomach. Hi Maria, I'm literally only just starting, don't worry. If you've come in late, I've been telling you my woes of Eddie and one thing and another. Charlotte saying lol go Eddie. Mr. Bit said don't start until, sorry, I know, because I was running late and the program that I use, Switcher, would only let me program it 20 minutes ahead. So even though I was coming live like 5 minutes late, I had to say that I was going to be 20 minutes. It's all too confusing tonight. I'm really sorry. That was a quick way to do it. Right, okay, so there was that way, or you could, she said she used 4, so you could use 4 and overlap them and line them all up. Let's just line 2 up for, let's do 2 to the left, and let's select 2 and do them to the right, and they look as though they all overlap, and then select them all and go edit and weld. Okay, so you know, you can put 4 together and overlap them and line them all up so that they all line up and weld, or you can weld 2 and then duplicate and weld the 2 lots of 2 together. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Such a tiny bark, Donna's saying. So that's how she told me she overcame the problem. She said she created 4 and welded them together. Okay, so I'm just going to put those on the side, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to choose the same scallop shape. Now let me find my calculator, because there was a bit of maths involved in the way that I did it. So the way that I thought about doing it was, we know that this is 3.94 inches, so basically 4 inches. And I counted the scallops, so there's 6 scallops across the top. So the way that I did it, but I kind of think her way might be easier, but this is just an alternative, was to, how did I do it? I think I divided the 4 by 6. Yeah, I did. So this is 4 inches across, and it's made up of 6 scallops. So I divided 4 by 6, and that gave me 0.666666, okay, as a number. So I then got a circle and I edited the circle. How would you do it? I always forget. So under the properties box, I made the circle 0.66, and because I've got maintain aspect ratio selected, when I hit enter, it makes it obviously a perfect circle. It does the width and height, for want of a better word, okay? And I think she was trying to get something. I think she said about 11 inches, which if you divide 11 inches by 0.666, it's basically 16.66, so it's like 17. Now, I think I only did it with 11, but we'll try 17 and see what happens. So I'm going to select the circle and I'm going to duplicate it 16 more times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can you do it with Control D? 9. No, you can't. 9. I'll do it this way. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That was a bit of a long-winded way, wasn't it? But here we go. Now, when I actually tried this out, when I got her email, I think I just did 11. But we'll see how this works. So we should have about 17 0.66 of an inch circles, okay? And I'll come to your comments in a minute. So I'm going to select them all and come to edit. And thinking about it, I may have used Canvas Workspace for computer, but let's try it this way and see. And we'll line them all up on the bottom edge. And then we'll go to edit and see if we can move them. I don't think we can we? Maybe I did it in Canvas Workspace for computer, because in there you can space them out, can't you? So let me just come back and see. So I can group them. I can select them all, I can offset them, I can duplicate them that way. Right, so change of direction. I'm going to open Canvas Workspace for computer now, because I thought I'd used out online when I tried it last week when she sent me the email, but maybe I didn't. So I'm going to keep this open. I'm just going to minimize it, and I'm going to open Canvas Workspace for computer. And while I'm waiting for that to open, let me see what you're all saying. That's a quick way to do that. That's brilliant. Wouldn't have thought of that. No, me neither, if you're talking about Cherie's way. I thought it was quite genius, to be honest. My dog just barked at Eddie. Oh no, sorry. Such a tiny bark. Perfect sense and quite clever. With a mat, you might try holding the operation key and dragging. I used to be able to do the Alt key. I'll try the operation key. Could have done copy and then paste. Yeah, thank you. Will the new fill page work, or is that too many? That would fill the page, but in Canvas Workspace for computer. Right, let me just make this bigger so that you can hopefully see it. So if we come back to the circle and we go to the edit tab and we make it 0.66 like I did in the online version a minute ago, and then come to the layers tab and I'll do, does 16 sound right? Somebody that does math. 16 times 0.66. Yeah, it's just under 11 inches, isn't it? Right, so Canvas Workspace for computer we're on now. Sorry to confuse you. I've got my circle. It's 0.66 of an inch. I'm on the layers tab, which is the fourth icon down, and down at the bottom I can duplicate it. So if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This must have been what I used the other day. Then I can come back to the edit tab. I can select them all. I can line them all up on the top or the bottom edge. It doesn't really make any difference, but at the minute they're all, if I click off them, you can see they're all overlapped, and that look didn't give me what I was trying to achieve. So I've got them all selected. I've got 17 in total. I've got them all lined up on the top or the bottom edge. It doesn't matter which one. And then down here, I'm on the edit tab now. And if you come down under where all the align and distribute is, under it says distribute space, I'm going to take that down to 0, and I'm going to say on the horizontal. And now it spaces them out so that they basically just touch, but they don't overlap. Okay. So this might be a longer winded way of doing it than the way Cherie did it, but it's an alternative way. And I think, you know, we all like to have different ways of doing things. And you lot, my lovely friends here, may come up with other ways. So I'm going to, with them all selected, I'm going to right click and make them a group. Okay, so I've got a group of circles that basically just touch but not overlap. Let me just go back and see what we're all saying now. So Vicky's saying, I wish there was a choice of number of copies like there is on the ScanNCut. Donna, I think this is only available on computer version. Hi, I missed the start. Don't worry, Susan. It's another one of those nights, lol. You have patience of a saint. Do you know, Alison, it's not. It's just that I'm so blasted forgetful. I mean, literally, Cherie, I think, messaged me probably Sunday or Monday with this question, and I tried it out, and literally I've forgotten what I did. So, you know, but, you know, we get there in the end, don't we? Sometimes we don't, but please look for my question above in the comments. Okay, so what's Gloria saying? Okay, let me see what you're saying, Gloria. On the ScanNCut machine, can you make the cutting parameters 8.5 by 11 instead of 12 by 12? Yes, you can, Gloria. And the way that you do it, and funnily enough, I've been cutting some tags this week for some free tags that I've been given with my Stampin' Up business, and I wanted to cut them back from 8.5 by 11, and I did exactly this. Now, like I said at the beginning, I don't know whether you were here or not, but the crafting part of my office, so all my paper, my cardstock, my ScanNCut, all that kind of stuff is in my old craft room in a different part of my house, so I can't show you because I'm in a different part of the building where I've got my computer, but I can explain how to do it. So Gloria, the way you do it is you turn your ScanNCut machine on, you go to the settings tab. Depending on which model you've got, that might be an icon on the front of your machine if it's a CM machine, or it might be on a screen. It looks like a wrench. So you go to the settings, and somewhere on one of the pages, it's one of the first few pages, I think, it might even be on the first page, it says something like cut area or cut area parameter, and basically it will show you a picture of your mat with arrows, and you drag the arrows in to 8.5 and up to 11, and then that you say okay, and then any shape that you put on your screen will only fit in that area. So that's how you do it, Gloria. So now let me come back. So Jamila's saying, I have learned new things in every live coming. I have set an alarm on my mobile now so I don't miss any. Oh, bless you. Everyone is so friendly. Thanks, everyone. Well, it's lovely to have you here, Jamila, like I keep saying, and everybody is friendly. And we all help each other. And my memory's shocking, and I forget how to do stuff, and you lot all prompt me. So, hi, Lynn. Hope you're okay. I'm tons better, thank you, Lynn. Rachel's saying, hope you're recovering well and had a good week. Oh, yes, I forgot to. I know, because I think I spoke to Alison as well, didn't I, the other day. So Gloria is saying, that's fine. I'll look on the machine. I'm not by my ScanNCut either. No. Once I get into my other craft room and I get doing something on the machine, maybe hopefully next week, if you're here next week and you've not kind of figured it out and you want me to show it again, ask me when I'm doing something on the machine. But that's basically how you do it. You do it from within in the settings. Trying to think if there's another way you can do it. There probably is, but that's the way I would do it. I would go into the settings, change the page size. And the reason I did it via the settings was because I was using a tag of a certain size and I didn't know how many tags I could get on a UK A4 piece of paper, which is 8¼ by 11 3/4. So it's slightly different size to 8½ by 11. So basically what I did, I made the screen mat, if you like, the size I wanted. I put my tag shape on it and I just guessed at roughly how many I needed. And the ScanNCut told me that I could only fit X amount within that area that I'd chosen. So that's why I did it that way. So Eileen's saying, no, thanks for asking, Gloria. I needed the setting information. I didn't even know it. Charlene is saying, hi, everybody, just popping in from Peru. Hi. Teamwork, love it. Yeah. We learn something new every week we do. It's my birthday tomorrow. Oh, well, everybody say happy birthday to Jamila for tomorrow. I have always just scanned my piece of card. Yeah, you can scan your piece of card, Eileen, but then you've kind of, let me think, if you scan your piece of card, then you've got to kind of drag the shapes on. Whereas if you set the mat size and put the shapes on and then just, you know, say I want 14 shapes, let's say, and hit enter or OK, the ScanNCut machine will tell you whether you can fit the 14 shapes onto the default size that you've made your screen mat, if that makes sense. And it'll say you can only fit 10 on. So you basically, you know, you'd get rid of 4 and you'd put 10 on. And then there's that icon where you can, it looks like different shapes in different orientations. And you can choose that, which is what I did. And it positioned my tags the best way possible to fit from the screen size that I'd set, which was basically I'd set it to a UK piece of A4, and then all as I did, I put my piece of A4 on the mat in the top left hand corner, and it just cut all the shapes out perfectly. That, as I say, it might be a bit confusing doing that explanation. It might be easier to see it, but I'm sure I've shown it in the past. Happy birthday. So everyone's saying happy birthday at the moment. Right, so let's go back to our 17 circles that have made a group, okay? So now from here, I would come back to the Layers tab, which is the 4th icon down, and I would create 3 more duplicates of this row of circles. Okay, so I've effectively got 4 sets, okay? I would rotate 2 of them, so I'm going to hold the Shift key down, which is the up arrow on a Mac keyboard. I'm going to hold that down, hover my mouse over this circle, and it turns to a directional arrow, and I should be able to rotate it, but it's not letting me, so we'll do it. All right, okay, let's go back to the edit it does funny things and won't let me do certain things. So I want to, where is the angle? Here we go. So I'm going to come to, is it 90 degrees? Yeah, 90 degrees for one. I'm going to select another and do 90 degrees. So not to confuse, I'm still on the edit icon, and do 90 degrees. So then I would put one of these vertical rows, I'll move that one down for now, and I'll just select the top one and this right one, and then I would line them up, say on the left hand edge and on the top, so I know they line up. Then I would bring this one up, or again you could just select these two and weld them and duplicate them and flip them, but we'll do it this way for now. So I'm going to bring the bottom one over so it overlaps in the corner here, and I'm just going to select the bottom row and the right hand edge, and I'm going to line these up on the bottom and on the right. So when I click away, they should all line up perfectly. And then I just need to bring this one in, position it as best I can, just select the top of the bottom row, it doesn't really matter, and then the left hand row, and again I'll line it up on the left and I'll line it up on the top. So now I've got like a square of these circles. So if I select everything and just make it a group just to make it easier, then come back to my basic shapes and grab a square, and then I'm going to position the square so that the corner of my square is kind of in the middle of this circle. So I'm just doing that by eye, and I'm going to drag it out until this bottom corner is in the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to select all of those and come down to process overlap and weld. And that's what I get. Now if I bring, which one is it? Is it this one? Yeah. So if I bring this one in now, which is the one we started with originally, isn't it? No, it's not. It's that one. Let's get rid of that. So if I bring this one in, the one we started with originally, that was just under 4x4 with our 6 scallops, and if I just make this red, and if I position it over, you'll see if I zoom in that the scallops are more or less the exact same size. So, you know, that's how I thought about doing it when Cherie asked me, but then her way of putting 4 squares together and lining them all up and welding gives you the kind of same result. But with Cherie's, if you line 4 squares up together, when we welded them at the beginning, when I was using Canvas Online, it only gave us a square that was it 7x7 or thereabouts. And I think what she wanted was something around about 11 inches. So doing it my way, let me just come back to 50%. Doing it my way by calculating what the size of the circle was originally, and then how many would fit in 11x11, you get the scallop to be the size that you want, but your finished result, if we click on edit, it's like 11.22. So if you wanted it to be 11, you could just size it down to 11 and it would just shrink ever so slightly. So, but doing it Cherie's way by making 4 of the default size, it didn't get to the 11x11. So then what you'd have to do if you wanted to do it by using 4, you'd have to work out what size to make your original scallop square that you could then duplicate to make that 11x11, if that makes sense. So it'd probably have to be about 5.5 by 5.5, wouldn't it? We do 5.5. You'd have to make 4 at 5.5, but you'd end up probably with the scallops being a different size like this. So like like I say, she said she'd found her work round, but she asked me how I would do it. So this would be how I would do it, but there's no right or wrong way, basically, is there? You end up with more or less the same. So if we go back, if I put that to one side and we bring in the one that we started with, and we come to the edit and make 3 more, and we do it the way Cherie did it, and then I've seen a comment from Vicky, so I want to come back and see what Eileen is saying. I'm so happy to be learning this. I always want a scallop rectangle and have struggled with getting it to look decent. Should weld before lining up 3rd and 4th, since it can move the wrong one from the first alignment. Very clever. Is this how brother would make their shapes? I honestly don't know, but this is how I've done. If you look on my channel years and years ago, I showed you how to make scallop squares and scallop rectangles, doing it this way. So, you know, it's not something that's new. I have shown how to do this before. So again, let's just choose these 2, come back to the edit icon, let's align them on the left so they line up, and we'll just do it the easy way. We'll weld, can we weld them? Let's weld them, and then we'll make a duplicate of those, and we'll overlap it, and we'll line it up on the top edge so it overlaps nicely, and then we'll weld them 2 together. Okay, so let's get rid of those now. So doing it Cherie's way, using 4 at the default size, that gives us a 7.20 by 7.19. So kind of about 7¼ by 7¼ So if you then drag that out to be 11, let's just try it and see. You're altering the size of the scallops again, which is what her original problem was. So if we just undo that, and that's why she came up with the idea of doing 4, but it still didn't get her to the size that she wanted, because I'm sure she said she was trying to get it to be 11 by 11. So that's the way I would do it. I would look at the shape, the original shape. Let's make that red, which is what I did. Saw what size it was, divided it by the number of scallops, which gave me the size of the circle to start with. I mean, I suppose, to be fair, you could use, there's a half a circle. You could probably do it with a half a circle. You know, if you made it the same size. But I just used a circle because that was kind of what I thought of originally. So that's how I would do it. Now, if we go back, let me see if I can undo and go back to, don't know how many steps, it's not going to let me go back. So, but when I had my 4 lots of circles lined up and I put a square in the middle, the reason I did the square was because it would then literally weld this section out. If I didn't put the square in and I welded the 4 rows of circles, you would get kind of like a circle within a circle, if that makes sense. Let's just put that on one side and I'll show you. Let's make this 0.66, and I won't do as many. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll just do 6. I'll select them all. I'll come back to edit. I'll line them all up on the bottom edge. I'll come to align and distribute down here. Make sure it's 0 and then select horizontal so they all touch. and then I'll group them. Then I'll, let's duplicate them. And we can, no, it won't let me rotate. Let's go back to edit. Let's change it to 90 degrees. And then we can overlap it as best as you can, and then select everything. Then if you line it up, say on the left edge and on the top, these two circles in the corner will sit directly on top of each other, so you know then that they're lined up. And we can weld, sorry, we can group them and duplicate them. And then we can rotate the duplicate 180, so another 90. Let's see, do we do that another 90? No, let's get rid of that. Oh, hang on a minute. Let's get rid of that. So we've got these. We'll duplicate them, and then do we need to rotate 180? Is it? I'm rubbish at maths. There we go. We rotate at 180. Then again, we're going to overlap them as best we can. So let's line it up on, say, the left edge and the bottom. So now we've got that. And then I put a square in the middle so that I ended up with just the scallops. Yeah. If you don't do that, the other way would be if we ungroup, and let's get rid of these, and come back to these. If we say overlap them by 1/4 of an inch down here on the horizontal. Oh no, that's spacing. Sorry, we don't want spacing. We want to align them on the minus 0.25 horizontal, so they overlap, but for some reason it's doing strange things. Let's just try it again. Let's get a circle. 0.66. Select them, line them up on the bottom. Let's see if, is it zero? No, we don't want 0.25. We want minus 0.12, I think, on the horizontal. There we go. So they just overlap a little bit. Okay. Then you can either weld them, and you see what I mean? You get that kind of funny thing. So then if you duplicate them and rotate them and line it up, can you see what I'm trying to get at? Hang on. So I want to line them on the top and on the left, and then weld. You get this funny thing. So that's why on mine, when I'd got all my circles in position, I put a square over it to weld this bit out, if that makes sense. So let me come back and see what everyone's saying. Good morning from the Pacific Northwest is Diana. Good morning to you. Hi, Lai. Can we cut the shapes in half like in the C? Can we cut the shapes in half like in C in the name we don't mention? Can we cut the shapes in half? I think so, Jamila, but I'm not sure what you mean. What shape do you want to cut in half? I'm sure we can. Could you do ×4 make a square scallop and then do another ×4 to get smaller. Could you do ×4, make a square scallop, then do another ×4? Yeah, you probably could. You could use the flip buttons, yeah, that's someone else is saying. Use a negative spacing, that's what Vicky's saying, yeah. Your circles were grouped in twos, that's why it was making strange things happen. Ah, right, okay. I didn't know about the laser panel control. Thanks, see, I'm learning again. And I've had a ScanNCut since 2017. Layer, not laser. Okay. So that's why I put my square in the middle to weld out this kind of shape here. But if you wanted, let's move that out of the way. You know, if you wanted a frame like this, then you would, you know, do 4 of these, overlap them in the minus and weld them. Does that make sense? Vicky says she means Christmas. C equals cricket. That's what I thought you meant, cricket, but I'm not sure what you mean. And any shape, can we do like the slice function? Yeah, so let's get rid of that. So if we bring a circle on, Jamila, so if you wanted to slice this circle in half to give you 2 like half moons, I know there is a shape here in Canvas that gives you that effect, but you know, just as we're using circles, let's use circles for now. So you, again, I've shown how to do this. Bring a square on, make it really, really skinny, position it across your circle. I would select them both and center them on the horizontal and on the vertical. And you can use subtract, which breaks them in half, but there's still a group. So what you do then is you you select them and you can use, is it divide? Divide will then give you 2. Or let's undo that and get back to our circle with our shape. If we just use that and do divide straight away, we should then be able to break them apart again. And I think you can also do, let's do undo again. And I think you can do use process overlap, which I think is that one. And again, that gives you the same kind of result. But again, you've got to break them apart. Oh. So does that answer that question? So basically, yes. So hopefully, I've not seen Cherie on here. Let's get rid of that. But hopefully, that's just kind of, will have hopefully shown Cherie an alternative. I'm just making sure I've not got anything left off the edge of my page. Will hopefully show Cherie the way that I did it. But like I say, her way was kind of just as good. But if you want to make something that's a specific size, then the way, especially if you're doing it, you know, from a shape that's already made in Canvas, then I would look at what the size is, work out how many of the scallops there are in that size, and, you know, do a bit of maths. So let's just colour these in, and I'll see if I can maybe make a thumbnail out of this for the YouTube video. Right, so let's see what we're saying. So Rachel's saying, I've just bought my mum a Cricut Joy, so I'm trying to learn their version of Canvas to teach her. My brain is so confused. I'm not surprised. Cricut Design Space, if that's still what you use with the Joy, I know that's what you used to use with the Cricut machine, is actually quite good. Again, it had its limitations. I think it still does. The same as, you know, Canvas Workspace Online. But there kind of are always workarounds for these things. You know, it's just working out what the workaround is, basically. So hopefully that's kind of just addressed that issue anyway. I'm really sorry that I wasn't able to do, you know, the 3D Christmas tree or do the print and cut, but I literally just have not had the time, because the print and cut activation card I bought last week, but it got delayed with DPD. I kept getting messages from DPD saying that they'd got delivery issues. I don't know whether it's Christmas issues or COVID issues. So when it did finally arrive, I've just not had time to deal with it. Because obviously Eddie's not been, or like I said, it looks okay in himself, but his stomach's not. So I'd kind of been monitoring that for a couple of days in the week, and ended up having to take him to the vet on Friday. And then my rotary blade came yesterday, so I've not even had time to look at that. So, you know, hopefully sometime this week I'll either get to look at the print and cut, or I will try and see if I can have a look at that 3D Christmas tree. The only thing I would say about that 3D Christmas tree is that because of the amount of cutting that's involved, you have to use 12 by 12, or if you want to use A4, you've got to cut it over several sheets. And I am positive I've not got any 12 by 12 in like dark shades of green. So I would have to cut several sheets and do it all from A4. And that's just another reason why I've just not got around to doing it. So let's see what Lynn's saying. Do you use any other design software? If so, what and why? I don't, Lynn. I used to use Inkscape. Any of you that will have been with me from the beginning will know I used to use Inkscape at one time, because you could create SVG files, and the ScanNCut is meant to be able to cut SVG files. But that was only because we only had Canvas Online at the time, and it was very, very limited. So that was why I used to use Inkscape. But then obviously as the years have gone by, they've given us more functionality in Canvas Online, and they've also now given us the computer-based version. So and in addition to all of that, Inkscape started crashing my Mac, and I honestly and then my Mac died, so I ended up having to get a new Mac computer. Some of you again will probably remember a couple of years ago, and I didn't want to put Inkscape back on it. So me personally now, I literally only use Canvas Online and Canvas for Computer, or the only other program that I would probably try would be Canva. Do you remember a few months ago we did a couple of shaped cards using Canva, where we printed them and then we scanned them and cut them? So you know, that's kind of what all I would use. Right, let me just see what we're saying, and then I'm going to go. Yes, all Cricut machines use Design Space. Okay, so that's good. Some of the things will be similar. It's just a case of working out their you know, their terminology. I think their terminology is probably a little bit different. I think they use weld and that, don't they? But I think if you've got the basis of Canvas Workspace, hopefully you'd be all right with Design Space. It's like anything, the more we practice, the more we learn, but we've learned so much via you, Ashley. Thank you. You're welcome. I forget most of it, don't I? I mean, I'm a bit rubbish. So many things to look forward to. No worries that Ashley Live happens. Thank you for tonight. Again, learned something new. We're all so busy at the moment with Christmas. It's wonderful to sit down for a while. Oh, bless you. I mean, sometimes I feel that I'm just going over old ground, and I think you're all going to get bored with me. But it's lovely to know that, you know, you don't mind me going back over different things. And I do know that I'm reading a lot of comments on my YouTube videos recently that people are saying they've only just found me. So, you know, we are getting new people that won't have known about the 7 years worth of videos I've got on YouTube. So I suppose, you know, to recap is good, isn't it? Rachel's saying, I love my Cricut Joy. I use it for making cards. Need the extra card mat. And my designs for the mug press. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I've seen that mug press. That does look fun. So Charlotte's saying that she uses shortcuts a lot. Yeah, I use Inkscape to clean JPEG images. Can we do this in Canvas? You can, but to a limited, not like you can in Inkscape. I think unless there's that other activation card, isn't there, that you can buy for auto tracing. I've not got that. Again, I don't know, you know, how good it is. Eddie's sat here looking at me, wagging his tail, as much as say, are you talking to me? What you doing? I don't know what you're going on about. Literally, poor thing. Not that I'm doing much with a peg leg, but improving every day. Oh, bless you. A month tomorrow. God, that's gone quick. Okay, thanks. I've never found a need for anything else, only use offline. Heard a lot about Scallop. Booster getting done tomorrow. Stay safe, everyone. Hope you're on the mend, Alison. Thanks for tonight. I need to go on Canva more. Don't forget the thumbs up. Thank you again, Ashley. Good session again. Stay safe. We will never get bored of you. Oh, bless you. Thank you. You are never boring. We would never get bored of you. Even if it's a recap, I still learn something. I appreciate it. Well, to be fair, Patty, like I say, I forget most of it, don't I? So it's good for me, to be honest, to try and have a bit of a recap. Thank you for all the info. I'm new to Brother ScanNCut. See, so there's a newbie. So thank you and welcome, Carol. So anyway, I hope that was of some help. I am going to go now because I think this poor little dog needs some chicken and rice before he tries to start eating my furniture. So yeah, stay safe, everybody. You know, whatever you're doing this holiday season, you know, if you're shopping or if you celebrate Christmas or if you're shopping online or whatever you're doing, you know, just keep safe. If you're going out or whatever. But hopefully I will see you all next Sunday with some kind of a project, one way or another. So Alison saying, I may not be here next week, so Merry Christmas to you, Ashley, and every one of our friends. Oh, okay, Alison, don't worry about it. And Jamila's saying night all and stay safe. So yeah, so I think on that note, I am going to go. So take care, everybody. Hopefully I may or may not see some of you next week. Lynn, you're welcome. It's fine. And yeah, take care and I'll speak to you all soon.